follow England all over the place. No more, that's it. End of story. They can go fuck themselves.
English football every weekend, no matter the standard, you will find the terraces full of fans carrying their clubs to 3 points or popping them up when they lose. But when it comes to the national team, it's a different story.
It was just fucking a mess, an absolute fucking mess. And do they care? Would you care if you had like 50 fucking million in the bank? Because I probably wouldn't, and you could see it all over the fucking park.
I'd love to be able to get as excited for international football as I do the Premier League. And I don't at all.
You can't tell me the last few campaigns, the managers we've had, the football we played, and the way we played on the pitch, how the players played, was something I should be passionate about. I'll say, fuck that.
It might seem a long time ago now, but it hasn't always been like this.
Listen, man, the England national team have given us some fantastic memories.
I had a flag up on my window, England flag. Like, I really cared. I really wanted England to do it. There was a belief.
96, Euro 96.
Now I hear good things about 96.
Yeah, they smashed it. It was fucking great. Manchester was buzzing. Everyone was buzzing.
Well, I'll show you an example from 1990.
Wow, that's what they received, and they didn't even win it.
Look at what the 1990 squad came back to, those scenes, and think about how we remember the 1996 squad. They essentially won nothing, yet England remembers them both as valiant losers. What happened to that identity?
But I mean, looking at that there, it's like, I feel we're so far away from that at the minute, that relationship with the fans.
I've watched international football all around the world and seen time and time again how supporting your country can be such a positive and life-affirming experience.
日本代表の頑張りとかが僕ら日本人に日本も世界で通用するっていうそのプライドを与えるからまさにそうだ。
It's how the Mexicans reflects the culture, the passion, and all they have inside.
However, for England fans, it only seems to be a source of angst, frustration, and blind fury. Now, the reason I moved here to England is because, frankly, I just love it here. It's the home of football for a start. But it's also more than that. It's the people, the culture, the way you guys can laugh at yourselves, the open-mindedness.
There's a sort of mentality that we have here that everyone picks up.
There are so many lovable traits.
Having a laugh, do you know what I mean? Just being a bit jovial.
I think the main characteristic of being English is self-deprecation.
But when it comes to the national team, for some reason, at least nowadays, all of that stuff, it doesn't translate.
Going to watch the national team doesn't embody the experience of watching English football, which is generally a very passionate, good-humoured business.
Though to be fair, it is hard to find the funny side to results like the one against Iceland.
The Iceland game, it was, you know, we could have been there for 4 or 5 hours, but we weren't gonna score, we weren't gonna win.
It was probably the lowest point of my career.
It's like we were almost self-destruct at times, like looking, it was painful.
You feel like not only have you let yourself down and your teammates, you've let down the whole country. You try thinking about what could you do, what went wrong.
We kind of underestimated them a little bit.
It was one of the most painful things I've ever watched in my life.
It was like bang bang, you know, and it was like, oh, like fucking swear shit.
Terrible. But we expected it, didn't we?
Now, in the last film, we looked into how the media can have such a negative impact on the players' performances. However, it seems like that's not the only thing on their mind when they line up for England.
Even though it's tempting to blame the media, in these situations I always feel that, for a start, we only have the media that we deserve and want. I mean, people buy these newspapers. I was at the Iceland game in Nice, and during that game, Raheem Sterling was being barracked by his own fans on the far side. The entire stand of England fans was rising in patches to jeer at him as he got the ball. I mean, I'm pretty sure at that moment he wasn't thinking about what the headline would be in the Daily Star if England didn't win. He was simply sensing an incredible hostility on that side from the fans, which I think comes from a slightly strange place.
Booing does impact players. It does.
If you're having a bad game and stuff, you don't need people telling you, especially not your own fans.
That you're constantly hearing that. Of course, that's just something that's gonna sit in your mind.
And when you're booed, it creates that performance anxiety. When we've got a stadium full of fans who are frustrated, the players feel that frustration.
The creativity and the flair goes out the window a little bit. You know, when your back's against the wall and you need to, you know, take the bit between the teeth and really go for it, sometimes that creativity and flair can be cancelled out.
It seems pretty obvious that booing your own team, especially during the game, is simply counterproductive. So why do we do it?
Well, I don't think I've ever, like, since I was a little kid, felt that there was so much disconnect between like, English football fans and the England national team.
You need to feel tied to your national team. There needs to be like an identity where you believe in them, where there's a synchronicity between what the public feel and the national team. And England seems to have lost that relationship with their national team.
If you were in Nice, then you'd have seen a team that completely froze and obviously felt terrified at the idea of what defeat or victory might mean. And perhaps in that they are embodying an aspect of the culture. And if we feel that's something we're not happy with, then that's perhaps something more to do with the way England feels about itself than what the football team is doing.
I feel like English fans have a bit of a chip on their shoulder. It's a country of entitlement to a certain extent. Everyone feels entitled rather than appreciates the things that they do have.
It's not particularly fun, it's very high pressured, and I think that's quite palpable.
We expect to do well. We invented football.
You do feel a weight of expectation. I think you can't help but feel it.
Ever since 1966, you know, we've been the big dogs.
Even just linking back to like very old school thoughts of England being the centre of the universe or the centre of the world, and the sun never sets on the empire and all that stuff. And I think that mentality still follows England around to this day, and I'm not really a fan of it. Do you know what I mean? It's just...
It's like you guys have to dominate.
We're the greatest, we have to win. We're entitled to be here. We're entitled to the trophy. We are the best, and it's an ingrained mentality.
They're stuck in the old era
of always being champions,
it's a God-given right for them to win everything at football. Sorry, but it's not.
The England team has so many different views, so many different conflicting views. You realise what a divided country it is. I mean, to draw a really facile comparison, you realise how one half of the country can be so shocked that we voted for Brexit, and the other half can be so adamant that it's a good idea. If you've reported on the England team, that won't surprise you.
You can't help but feel it's as bad as it gets for England, but maybe that's a huge opportunity to start from scratch.
We've almost got a blank piece of paper to work on now.
It's like a reset, because we all go through it, even in life, in work, in relationships, in whatever you look at it. It's a cycle. So you go through the cycles, you think this is the way, and eventually you go back to zero. I think that's what England are right now, is at zero.
However, rebuilding means dealing with some difficult home truths.
As a team, and as the players that we do have and the players that we do, bring through the academies in England, we should be doing a lot better.
The lads were wounded and scarred definitely by that Iceland game.
You've got to block that out now and get ready, mentally prepared.
Initially, almost got that feeling across that it was okay to fail. Like, okay, it's not, but when you feel that it is, because you've done it, and what can be worse? Like we're here now after Iceland. It's not like, oh, you failed, then you're not going to exist anymore.
My kind of message would be to try and not take those burdens on from previous years. They're not your burdens really as such, and just believe you can go do something a bit special.
We feel stronger on the training field as a team.
So let's see how it goes. It's just take it game by game and enjoy it.
Maybe it's about giving everyone, from the national team to the fans, the chance and time to build an atmosphere that is less about imposing England's superiority on the world and more about finding and celebrating the pride in modern England.
It's a feeling. Most things in life are a feeling. I want to go to the England game and have a feeling of feeling like I'm a part of what's happening.
A more representative playing squad is a step in the right direction, but it's going to take more than that to make being an England fan something that really is for everyone.
Do you honestly, genuinely believe? Because I see like 3 black faces in the England side. I'm like, no, it's a feeling.
I don't think we should just talk about racism in Russia. We've got to get our own house in order. There's still things going on in our own country that aren't correct around racism.
So those few words actually meant more than the diversity of the team?
Of course it does, because it's from somebody who doesn't need to deliver it. He doesn't need to say that. That is healthy to see, that he's still able to be the England manager and be that honest. And if then that can be something that is everyone begins to do, then everyone begins to see the change.
I definitely think that England should be heading towards this kind of open atmosphere where anyone can be involved and anyone can go to games.
We also want to set ourselves the highest standards and to say that we can be an example of how you should be integrated, how you should use sport as a way of accepting everybody as equally English.
That is a future England can look towards. A future where the country's population is represented and celebrated by the national team, a platform built on the spirit of inclusivity and England's innate sense of humour and creativity.
Maybe the World Cup could be something that sort of brings people together.
And you've got players that all kinds of people can look up to.
Let all of this just be things that have stemmed on, and let this be the new England.
Maybe then England can go to a World Cup and be proud no matter what happens on the pitch.
Go and enjoy it, play for England, like bring back that relationship with your national team. So if they get to the quarters and lose valiantly, yeah, we've done well.
It might not be 2018, it might not be 2022, but if England are going to win a World Cup, something has got to change.
It's an equilibrium, like everything has to just click. It goes from FA, manager, players, fans, atmosphere, media. And when that all operates well, you win a World Cup.
So who's going to make that first move?
We need to get behind our players. I've always thought that. I think we need to sort of take the cynicism out.
Obviously the players are going to try and bring home the World Cup, but there are a few obstacles in the way. So maybe it's up to us, as fans, to make that first leap of faith.
English fans are ready. Doesn't matter what colour, nationality, race, political party.
When English fans are on it and going, there's nothing better, like, they can't be beaten.
What if we began building a new environment for this very young England team? An environment which allowed the players to play freely, make mistakes and fail without fear.
As a footballer, you'll get the best out of me. If you're allowed to be expressive, if it's about having fun, that's when you're going to try that Cruyff turn or that flick or that volley.
The kind of environment which allows the whole country to be proud of all the positive things that come with being English.
If the fans get going and get the stadium bouncing, I don't think you understand what that does for the team. Like, that's getting that support. It is massive.
If you can help them feel greater certainty that you're there supporting them, if they go a goal down, that's such a useful thing to do for players because it gives them that lift.
And if we can build that and they can go on to win something, then together we'll be able to experience the best of what these international tournaments are all about.
We could actually come together as a nation, a country, and actually understand, like, everyone here would love to bring the World Cup home.
It's not just for the players, it's for the whole country. You know, we all want to achieve it and be a part of something great together.